Hello, everyone, and welcome. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. We have been on a little bit of a break. I ended up getting sick before the Christmas holidays. Then so much stuff has happened, and with family, and if you guys aren't aware, family will always come first for me. They are my pride and joy, and that's one of the best things about being a content creator is being lucky enough to have a family. Today we've got a lot to catch up on. When I was originally planning on doing this, the Superman trailer officially kicked off, but there's been so much interesting news. There's been so much interesting discussion around the upcoming DCU. I've been really enjoying Creature Commando, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to go through the Superman trailer to kick off this stream. Then we're gonna jump into so many other interesting things when it comes to Star Citizen. This has been something that has been on my list of things to watch for a long time and kind of give my thoughts, my outlook as to the future of Star Citizen, especially here in 2025. So it's absolutely fitting that we kind of jump into that. And then finally, once we kind of get caught up on these reacts, it's going to be Beyond Pyro. We're going to be looking at crafting your home. Those are two of the big videos a lot of people have shared with me saying that they want to check out, they want me to watch and give my feedback and thoughts on it. We're going to spend some time with that. And then we're going to pivot into another stream. I've already got that scheduled up here on the channel. We're going to be checking out Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. It's going to be really great to see. And then we've got Ebony Wolf with the resub. Our goal here is to see how fast we can get to 500 subs here on YouTube. This is Ginger Prime TV. This is going to be the home for reacts and live stream content. That's what you're going to get here. So if you're not really interested in live stream content, well, thanks for checking out the VOD. You are truly amazing. All that being said, yeah, I'm going to crank down the music. I'm going to get into the reacts, and then I will jump into the Discord and we'll be hanging out podcast style like we do while we check out Pantheon for the very first time. All right, let's take it away with the DCU Superman trailer. If you guys have not seen this, I am a massive Superman fan. I have been really looking forward to the future of the DCU and the future of Superman. I think Henry Cavill got screwed over for sure, and I think he did an excellent job with what he was given. But we know for a fact that the WB executives truly screwed over the DCEU to the point where I don't think it could be salvaged. And I know there's a movement out there that considers that a possibility, but I am, for one, I'm just all in on the DCU. If you guys have not seen Creature Commandos, I highly recommend that series. That's adult content and up, just as a heads up. The DCU with Superman will kick off probably with the first family friendly level entry in the game, in the series, and I'm hoping I'm going to go see that and then be able to take my kids to see it, because I recently just took my kids to see Sonic 3. Fantastic movie, had an absolute blast, and the fact that they're still making more Sonic movies after this makes me even happier. So all in all, entertainment wise, the future feels like it's looking bright. But let's see, and let's check this out, because there's been a lot of discussion around this. I'm really looking forward to getting y'all's thoughts on this as well. What's really cool about this trailer is I saw this trailer also at the Sonic 3 movie, and it was different. They had less blood in it, so it was interesting to see how they kind of modeled it differently, because there is some intense moments in this trailer. Now I'm wondering what's going to be going on here in this story, because we know this story with Jonathan Kent. We've seen it, brought into film in a couple of different ways, obviously. And I just started getting into the Lois and Superman show that had just kind of ended its run, and that's an incredible depiction, probably one of the best depictions outside of maybe Smallville of Clark Kent and Superman. I do wonder, because I don't recall seeing Martha Kent in this. I don't know if it's going to be where they kind of change it up in that way where he loses Martha. I really hope not, because I think Martha is an important aspect to his character, and not in the Batman v Superman what we ended up getting with the DC. I really hope that James Gunn's able to pull this off. I think it'd be really great to see Superman, especially when we think of like the first two Superman movies ever made, how absolutely incredible that those were, and what they delivered on. So I'm very hopeful. Obviously time will tell. I know I will be checking that out on release day, if at all possible. as my goals of seeing and consuming things go, sometimes not so much. But now let's shift our focus and be checking out Beyond Pyro. This is roughly, it looks like a just under 40-minute video. So I will, we'll see how long it goes, how much more I add to what they're about to share. And then we're going to be checking out Crafting Your Home, which is right under the screen here. And I'll move the screen around if we need to. Let's do it. Boom, dude.
Hello, everyone. Wonderful to see you all. Thank you for coming out. Did you guys see that worm?
That worm was amazing.
Really cool. All right. So right now, it's all hands on deck to make 4.0 the best experience for you. Richer locations, deeper gameplay, better experiences. All with completely new and wonderful music from Pedro, which will create an evocative and emotional backdrop. Rich and I have been working directly with Pedro for many months now. Beautiful music awaits. But today, I'm going to talk to you about what's beyond Pyro. So let's strap in and we'll take a look. My name's Xian. I'm the creative director
Pyro,
for
baby.
Star Citizen. And let's start by looking up into the stars and saying hello to an old friend.
Now, in terms of old friend, I don't know if I'm going to have the context of this. What's going on, Random Roger? Happy New Year to you too. I love the music in this. It's so fantastic. Adjust the volume a little bit. There we go. Looks like there's something in that rock. Looks like some kind of structure has been built into it. I'm thinking that this is some kind of asteroid belt. Are we farming and mining on asteroids? Fascinating. Okay. Oh, what's up, Festa?
Awesome. All right. So this is NYX System. NYX was discovered in 2582 by Carla Larry during the height of the newly formed United Empire of Earth's territorial expansion. Its most defining feature, and the source of its name, is the sprawling black dust cloud that occupies most of the system. The dust cloud severely hampers visibility and can interfere with your ship's scanners. This system does, however, border with Vandal space.
Vandal.
So, visitors are being advised there are Vandal raiding parties hitting locations throughout the system.
Ooh, thank you, Fester. Getting a lot of good context from you guys. You rock.
This, a small community has formed in the system, and this is on an asteroid in the belt between NYX 2 and NYX 3. And this asteroid is called Delmar.
An asteroid, there we go. It's like an asteroid belt. Delmar, very nice. Yeah, you can see the structure built into it. Freaking cool.
And here it is, hidden deep in the Glacium Ring. But actually, Delmar should be, and now is, an actual asteroid.
Okay.
And
massive.
As it's an asteroid, the space is a zero-G location, giving a unique identity for a landing zone. So let's take a closer look at the main POI on Del Mar.
Yeah, this looks like I would say a massive upgrade. Absolutely. Happy New Year to you, Fester. That's so freaking cool, man. And no loading screens. Come on, let's go. Like, it's so freaking impressive that it really does honestly run the risk of embarrassing a lot of other things out there. Oh, and belated Merry Christmas to you, Az0, and Happy New Year. This looks like it's going to be fun to experience.
All right. Awesome, awesome. So, for all that remember, it's awesome to be able to say, welcome back to Levski.
Yeah.
And for new players, let me tell you why it's a cool place. This used to be an old mining facility, which was mothballed and then abandoned. There is an internal network of abandoned tunnels and mine shafts, and these are now populated with refugees, fugitives, and criminals. This is also the home to the People's Alliance, who you'll be doing some work for. And as Levski was made some time back, it needed to be updated so that it can fit into current gameplay features and systems and mission loops. So let's take a look at the first update, and that is to the hangars and landing services.
Yeah, I see that 3.24.3 is still the current live version. 4.0 preview. How far have they gotten with that? Y'all know? Oh, that's nice. What is that? Makes me think like it's a space whale, but I couldn't tell. But the crowd
Release
clearly
the
knew what it was.
Kraken! All right, cool. So Levski is still perched over the borehole, but now has a suite of hangars that are arrayed around and inside the borehole. We're also increasing the quantity of hangars. This is to meet the ever-expanding players per server to remove hangar wait times. And this pass will be done for all landing zones in the game right now.
Interesting.
And for players that don't want to store their ship,
Is that like
docking
a
services
monster?
will be added
Like a
high
kraken?
up on the cliff walls.
Like a real kraken?
Now, other than hangars and docking services, there are other ways to enter the location, which are also getting new updates. Let's take a look.
I love just how much, like, it's not like, hey, here's our bullet point list. It's like, let's actually show you some footage. It absolutely, like, shows just how much the team works on this game, right? They're not just like, oh, thanks for buying another ship. We'll get to it. No, it's like, this feels like they are having fun making this game. Okay, it's a ship. I was like, that looked like a ship. It didn't look like some kind of monster in space. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, John. I think the thing I want to buy next, I know I was saving up for like actual like sticks that the community recommended, but then my fence broke, refrigerator broke, something else broke, washing machine. So there was a lot of things that took away my my extra spending money in 2024. But the thing I want to buy now that I think I could probably afford, if nothing else, maybe later this month, I want to get like a bike. I've seen that they've got, yeah, I have a ship, I have a couple ships, but I think it's like a bike or something like that. I am subscribed to the month of the game as well.
All right, awesome. So around the main entrance, there's still gravity plating for on-foot access.
Boom. I'm gonna rewind that just a bit.
And these will lead to open landing pads.
Sweet. There we go.
All right, awesome.
Thank you, Carson.
So around the main entrance, there's still gravity plating for on-foot access. And these will lead to open landing pads for quick drop-off and pickup. And we're also adding access to gameplay areas for a variety of local missions and gameplay types. And as you saw in the video, there will be banks of exterior freight elevators. These can be used for quicker gameplay loops without requiring hangar services. Now, as this is a zero-G location, it also gives an opportunity for another type of specialist freight services. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm installing 4.0 preview right now. See if we can get some time to check it out later. That's interesting. What is going on with that ship? Oh, it's like separated and they're undocking all the materials. Holy crap. Fascinating. Dude, Fester, like I am 100% patient. Bugs don't bother me.
All right. So first
I'm not
off,
like those gamers who get pissed
now
off.
the borehole goes all the way through the asteroid,
you're in early access,
which is
early
awesome to fly
access.
through. And down at the base of the asteroid, there will be banks of exterior zero-G freight elevators.
I'm going to pause right here because there was a question from Janos in chat. I think it's an important just to set some context for Janos and for everybody else. I discovered Star Citizen last year after Citizencon. So the 2023 Citizencon going into 2024. So that's when I started playing Star Citizen and played the 3.1 and 3.2 and then I actually played a little bit. I think let me check the version. The last one, 3.24. So I played a little bit of that. It mostly ended up migrating more into the why am I drawing a blank on the? It's not the main game, but it's where you're able to the arena. Jump in and out of different things and been playing and learning flights, etc. Now, for those that don't know who I am, I'm a father of 6. This 2024 in the latter half of the year got super, super busy for me. So it wasn't that people are like, are you still interested in Star Citizen? It's like massively, massively yes. However, I haven't had even room to breathe. It feels like, just with kids, activities, coaching t-ball, and doing, my oldest is doing basketball, and others are doing dance. And so it's like, we have literally just been going in this household. So when it comes to this, I'm a software developer. I'm actually also making my own game. I like to provide those level of insights that usually mean go behind the scenes. A lot of gamers don't understand game development, and that makes it and game communication tricky. So I try to kind of be that bridge between the two, both as a gamer and setting expectations based off of what is said, because more often than not, I see that people literally will hear something and they'll be like, oh, that's coming this year. And it's like, oh, no. Same thing applies with Ashes of Creation and all these various different things. I tend to be pretty accurate, and I do miss, a patch or kind of a timing, because I don't have all the insight. But based off of certain words that are used, developers kind of like, okay, I know what that means. That means we're not 3 months out, we're 9 months out, or vice versa. Sometimes I'm like, that's actually pretty quick and easy to do based off of the framework and what they've already built. So hopefully that helps set some context. I'm not going to be, we've got some incredible Star Citizen people here in chat that are so knowledgeable. And what we typically do when I do live streams outside of Reacts is I jump in the Discord, and it becomes like a kind of a call-in show podcast that we kind of hang out and talk. But yeah, I don't want to ever give anybody the impression that it's like, Star Citizen expert. I've been following the game since day one. I haven't been. My story with it is pretty much sums it up. Like, I heard people calling this game a scam. I was like, I don't even know what it is. I never really kind of paid attention to it. And then eventually, after the last Star Citizen, I was like, this is something different. This isn't what people have been kind of whispering in my ear. I'm going to go verify the information that I've been given. And to come to find out, this is one of the biggest passion projects that I've ever seen. And we're witnessing the creation of a miracle in real time. And that is kind of my professional take on that. Anyway, so Jana says, I was at this year's Citizencon myself, the first one I've been to. I'm in the UK. Was a 6-hour drive to get there. A lot of friends in real life been playing. Dude, that is what makes gaming communities so great. Is when we can get together in the real world, because even if nothing's going on, you can always talk about the shared love of gaming. Random writes, do you even have time to work on your comedy? I do not. In fact, I was invited on to 6 different shows in 2025, and I had to cancel each and every one of them due to family life events. In fact, I was asked last night, like, hey, you still doing stand-up comedy? Yeah, I still sit down and write it from time to time. I have not been able to perform stand-up comedy. Like, I literally have had to set everything to the side right now. And that's why today is actually so special. I literally scheduled this stream where I was going to be like, hey, let's get together and hang out before Christmas. And no, that didn't work out either. So for me, family will always come first. And the other downside was I also got sick, which was always kind of a bummer. But no, right. Like, I hope that I can pick up some more of that comedy stuff here in 2025 again. But I know that we got a couple of maybe a month or two before things get busy. We'll see. I'll keep you guys up to date. I might have some news to share as a part of my kind of yearly channel analysis and so much more. Anyway, that was a long aside. Hopefully that was okay.
These will be priority access for Hull series ships. So for all the Hull series folks, we got you covered.
Hey, what's up, Salam? How you doing, bud?
The same functionality is also coming to space stations in both Stanton and Pyro.
Oh, that's cool.
But wait, there's a little bit more. Let's take a look.
Dude, father of 6, random, you're living life. I would have more kids if my wife said she wanted more kids. Like, it is a true blessing. But there is like a for sure gaming trade-off. Right now, like if there's a game that I get to sit down and play, it's with the kids, whatever they want to play, you know. Oh, your youngest is about to be 18? Dude, you're about to be an empty nester. Like my youngest is about to be 2. My oldest will turn 11 this year, so it's like I got them all kind of like sandwiched together, dude. Congratulations, man.
All right, cool.
Less of a big reaction for that one.
So, the external freight elevators will now have direct access to cargo decks to be able to quickly sell or pick up for the next run. So that concludes some of the exterior updates coming to Levski. But the interior is also getting some updates to bring them in line with current gameplay requirements. These will be spaces
Still
like cargo
Tom.
services, as we just saw, for hauling and supplies, and refinement centers, so you don't need to travel far to refine your ore. And we're updating the interior layout to provide better access to gameplay spaces. So to conclude, NYX System will be the next system after Pyro. Yay!
Do they have a time frame? Because I know Pyro comes in 4.0.
Delamar is now a physical asteroid
Okay.
with a zero-G play space. All right, not so much. And we're updating Levski to fit current gameplay mechanics and gameplay loops. And most importantly, we're adding local areas for gameplay content.
What do you mean by local areas for gameplay content?
Now, speaking of gameplay in landing zones, let's leave Levski for now. And let's jump to rainy Arcop, which is missing the most gameplay spaces right now. So we're continuing the Building Interior initiative. We're adding additional districts to landing zones, which are gameplay focused. These gameplay areas will interweave with the landing zone, but ultimately will be independent. So for Area 18, let me introduce you to the Municipal Works. And this will be split into 2 locations. The actual Municipal Works, which will be an open world sandbox area for all players, and the lower Municipal Works, known locally as the Depths, which will comprise of several instanced levels.
Interesting. Okay.
So, how do I get to the Municipal Works? The Municipal Works is accessible in multiple places in Area 18. Some will be available to everyone, and some you'll need to unlock with mission progression. As an example, here's a map of Area 18 Central. And as I said, there'll be various access points throughout the landing zone, and some will be easier to access than others. These access points will lead to transit systems, taking you deep into the underbelly, eventually reaching the Municipal Works. And the Municipal Works will have spaces like maintenance, filtration, and the sewer network.
That looks so cool.
Which is what we're seeing here. It's a very exotic place. So down here, it's an open world sandbox for you and other players, very similar to contested zones in Pyro stations. It's an area to do local missions, like exploration, repair, or even pest control. But the main purpose is provide access to the depths. And these will be instanced areas. So, what is an instance area? Well, an instance area works in the same way as an instanced hangar.
Have you heard of an instance in video
And as the
games?
name says, it's a separate space for you and your group, But why do we want to do this?
The simple answer is that way you can tailor the experience. The one thing that I love about sandboxes is that you never really know. Like you could, hey, we're going to take this on with 1,000 people, or we're going to take this on with 5. You get your variety in how the world responds to those things. It's dynamic, right? Instance allows them to create custom content designed around this is going to be a group of this many players, and thus you can kind of balance the objectives, and so you kind of have a smoother, more curated gaming experience. I do, and I've made the argument, especially for these kind of games, is that the design that they should go with is that of the sand park, meaning you have some theme park elements, some curated design content that people can get into. That's also the arena. In this case, if you think about Star Citizen as a sandbox and a theme park, a sand park, you have the arena. So it's like, hey, you know, I really don't feel like going through all of it. I just want to sit down and play. I only got 30 minutes. Boom, you have that piece of content. Same concept here with instances. It allows for more tailored design. And based off of what we learned already with basically classes as a part of their outfitting, then yeah, it seems to check out for sure.
This gives us the ability to create tailored missions that will provide a mixture of content like combat or exploration or puzzle gameplay, and fundamentally allows us to design challenging, meaningful content.
Awesome, thanks for the 5 likes, guys. I appreciate y'all supporting this on the stream.
All right, so let me illustrate. Going over here, how the depths will be split by levels. Now, stay with me on this. We're going to rattle through it quick. So let's say you're in level B01. You're running a mission, you're having a great time with the curated content I just mentioned. But down here, you'll have to do a variety of content over a period of time and over multiple play sessions. At the end of the mission, you'll find an access point, which will bring you back to the landing zone. And you'll do this loop multiple times with different mission content. After achieving the required amount of progression, your access level will be upgraded. So this time, you head down the access point elevator, and now it takes you all the way down to level B02, and you continue on with your journey. Now this is your new area with different mission content, new rewards, and a new access point back to the LZ. The same as B01, you'll do this loop multiple times. And you guessed it, eventually you'll get access to level B03, and we continue deeper. With each level you unlock, you access new areas. For new mission loops, you'll access new, more challenging curated content and access better and better rewards. And this is what will form progression-based content.
Cool.
So as I just described, was a very condensed version of an actual play sessions, but this still describes the unique gameplay experience. Landing zone areas which will offer long-term gameplay progression. So that concludes this section on gameplay spaces for landing zone. We're excited to show you more.
Sweet.
All right. So we're going to head away from ArtCop for now. Let's look again into the stars, and now we're going to talk about solar systems.
Oh, what?
All right. Stanton system was the primary system in the game. It serves as a lawful system. It's protected by the UEE and will continue to be evolved and updated as we balance it with other systems. Then we have Pyro system, which we've spoken about at length, and this will serve as the primary unlawful system, and is the perfect contrast to Stanton. Then, as we just saw, we have NYX system. It's not a totally unsafe system like Pyro, but it depends on where you go.
Fascinating.
As it borders Vandal space, see that little bit of red? That's Vandal space right there. And the UEE does not protect this system. But we've got a little bit of space there, haven't we? All right.
Love it.
I thought he was saying click system then. I'm like, I'm not sure about that one. All right. But we've got a bit of room at the bottom, so it would be a shame not to fill it in with something, right? So if we get a big cheer, we'll reveal the system. You ready?
Let's go! Hey, Nanny. Happy New Year. Oh, dude,
Very
roguelike
cool.
elements would be
Very
great
cool.
for the devs
All
era.
right. Here it is. Oh, wait.
Redacted? What's the fudge?
All right. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So, let's take a sneak peek at system number 4. Here it is.
Is this the Milky Way?
Well, it's awesome, right?
Oh, I
All
guess.
right. No, in order to reveal the 4th system, let me take you on a little history lesson. And to do that, we're going to load up our old friend, the Galactipedia. So, we're back in the height of the human-Xian Cold War. Tensions were at breaking point. In 2542, Armistead Perry introduced a designation line for a group of 8 planetary systems that marked the borderlands between Xian and human-controlled space. The United Planets of Earth designated the systems as no-fly zones, and utilizing them as military staging grounds. But one system on the Perry line offered a key strategic position for a potential invasion into the Xian Empire. And that system was Castra.
Yeah, it's good that they got hearing.
But luckily for us, war was averted, the Perry Pact was signed, which was a peace treaty between the now UEE and the Xian Empire, so the Cold War ended. The systems of the Perry Line were divided up between humans and Xian, and fast forward back to present day, humans and the Xian enjoy a more prosperous relations, and everyone's cool. So, the 4th system will be Castra.
Astra. See all their systems, though? Like, isn't that a part of their roadmap? Their goal is to have, like, eventually all these systems?
History lesson's over, so let's jump in and find out a little bit more. First, we have Castra 1. Here it is. Castra 1 is a dead, coreless planet
Coreless.
because it's too close to the sun to be terraformed for human habitation.
Okay.
So instead, the UEE Navy used Castra 1 for target practice, giving it the nickname of Bullseye.
Cool.
All the weapon testing throughout the Mesa era has left Bullseye covered in craters. And as you can see, it's super toxic, meaning ground exploration will require high-end environment suits.
Fascinating.
And as you saw in the weather demo, raging storms will create difficulty of access, giving risk and rewards for adventurers seeking unique minables and other items.
And other
Okay.
items.
Then we have Castra 2. The second planet from the sun is called Cascom. And this was the location
nice little
of the
Saturn ring.
military's staging area. Since the system was opened up to non-military settlement, it has since become a center of trade and tourism, but is still considered an Earth-centric traditionalist system, which prizes citizenship above all else. Let's head down to the surface and check it out.
Cool.
Breaking through the clouds, you'll find a landscape full of Great Lakes and lush crimson forests.
Nice. Crimson Forest.
And
very
as you
cool.
saw in the CTG presentation,
so good.
you can see how we're going to make these worlds with the new technology. High up on the mountain range, here at the highest peak, we can just make out the landing zone called Sherman.
That looks awesome.
Which is fondly known by its residents as the island in the sky. Sherman is currently in pre-production, but I wanted to take the opportunity to show at least a sneak peek. Let's take a look.
Go. It's pre-production and they got video? That's so freaking amazing, guys. Dude, the music, Janos, throughout everything they do is amazing. Random just asked, if Citizencon is back in the US this October, you going? That's really tempting. I would need to figure out how much it would cost, travel, hotel, but I would love, like, getting and hanging out with everybody. Like, I think that, you know, while I'm not drinking until I'm 45, you know, I know that there's Bar Citizen that, you know, gets together and stuff like that, which would be freaking cool. Oh, thanks, Janos. Hey, what's up, Joe Tim? Joe, excuse me. And thanks for coming and checking out the stream. I appreciate you. We're almost to 10 likes on the YouTube side. That's actually next, Vorpal. We're gonna finish this one, and then we're gonna check out the crafting your home presentation, and then I'm gonna jump into Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Oh, easy anti-cheat, sure. Go ahead and install. All right, and the 4.0 preview has actually now been installed, so that's good. I love how like the rock formations, like it's like just kind of all having these pillars, these craters. Yeah, last time I did like a preview build, it was really rough. And I was like, all right, might check it out later. I've heard like it's got great performance and bad performance. So people like wildly different experiences, which sounds about right for an alpha, you know? Yeah, Janice, you're welcome to share links and things like that. I don't think I have any restrictions on doing any of that.
Awesome. Let me take you through some of the areas of Sherman you just saw. The dominant landmark you see in the center is Spaceport Ulysses, named after the mountain Sherman is sitting on. This is where they staged the bombers that were on active rotation, waiting on any sign of any aggression. But now it's mostly a commercial spaceport. The Navy still has an airbase here, but it's a great place to see some big ships of the UEE. Commercial hangars are located inside the main trench. And even though this is a converted from a naval base, it still has an impressive military flavor. And speaking of military flavor, the original AOV-9s, anti-orbital cannons, are still present around the defensive walls, with most of them being decommissioned once it became a civilian city. Over to the left of the spaceport is the Sparrows Industrial Park, home to the sprawling cargo yards and manufacturing plants. The Sparrows has evolved from its days as a military supply and munitions depot into a bustling and modern industrial park. To the right side of the spaceport is Fort Riggs, which originally used to house the Army when Sherman was used as a staging point for a potential ground assault of the Xian Empire.
Neat.
Since the area was decommissioned, it has now been turned into a business park and is the governmental center of CASCOM, with the Governor's Council headquarters located here. As this base was built during the Mesa era, as humans were expanding their borders, this introduces a new architectural style for humans.
I'm going to pause it here for a second because I see a little bit of chat happening. I think I can try and weigh in on it. Seeing obviously a lot of back and forth regarding that Star Citizen is vaporware versus if it's coming out. And then Fester writes this: the best part of 4.0 is that CIG has proven server meshing in the level of detail and scale works, something that many said could not be done. But we have heard many times with this specific project. And what's really cool about this is that one of the things, like when we start to talk about and think about, you know, vaporware, and to kind of push back on that mindset, is that they have had to invent a lot of the technology. And what I would point you to is what other game does it to this degree, this scale, this level of realism. And if they do that, then, you know, yeah, I could see that that could become an argument, or if at least nothing else, an argument of different management styles. But that's not what we were seeing. We're seeing no loading screens and all of just what that actually entails and how these games are streamed and the sense of realism. That's why it's really good that this game's in an alpha. Now, does that mean that you should go and get frustrated by the long development time that this game has already had? No, like go play something else, right? Like the simplest answer is the most logical. When you're feeling burnt out or frustrated, there is a massive amount of really great games, especially within 2024, that you can go dive into. I get that you probably want this game, you know, like I want to play it. You know, it's like I want this to be something, you know, more than what it is. And the unfortunate answer is that that's something that it's incredible that the project has gotten the funding, the support, and this far along. And I think that actually gives me more hope, and meaning that when the game is finally ready for mass consumption, that it is going to be one of those experiences that, if nothing else, even for people who don't like these kind of games, they'd be like, I need to check it out at a minimum, you know?
Between the First Travarian War on one front and the Xian Cold War on the other, a new style called Heroism arose, with an emphasis on prefabrication and fortification. The designs were robust, durable against warfare and harsh enemies and harsh environments. And from all the locations we just saw, high up on the upper wall, you can see the commercial district. and specifically the Ansel shopping complex. Situated high above the sprawling main base below, the Ansel area originally served as the command center to Sherman's military operations. Inside this building, you'll find key areas like the Edge of Oblivion Bar, which was converted.
And to jump in, because DC writes, he's like, I mean, I love this, but 13 years later, hard to wrap a dev cycle this long. And it's like, the nice thing for me is that's where it's like coming in, I'm 1 year in to following the game. And so I get all the advantages of everything that they've worked on and added in without the frustration of having waited 13 years. Because for me, it hasn't been. It's only been one so far. And I'm loving everything I'm seeing. But I get it. Like, that's the thing. And the best thing probably to do is to let is to take that break, just to let your body, mind, and then when you come back eventually, because you've stated that you love the game, when you do eventually come back, you're going to be all the more excited because you're going to have the history and the knowledge, and then you're going to actually finally see the payout without having to watch and wait for every little bit of drip of news, if that makes any sense. And Job says, for me, it's been like 3 days. You love to see it.
From the old officers' lounge. You'll also find Eckhart Security Headquarters, and you'll find the Mercenary Guild headquarters. The other areas in the commercial district include the OPA towers for habitation. That's the building on the left. And on the right, it's the Imperial Sherman Infirmary. There's also the Reeves Military Museum, where you can experience the history of humanity's military and the role that Castra has played in keeping the Empire safe. And finally, we have Overlook Point, which is the name of the vantage point and park situated in front of Central Command, which has the best view overlooking the landing zone. So that's a quick overview of some of the key areas of Sherman. I think it's devastatingly beautiful, with a rich history and unique mood and vibe.
I like it. Yeah,
awesome.
Fester.
So
Agreed.
before I go, I want to thank you all. You are all awesome. All your passion, all your dedication make our lives as devs so much easier. And thanks to the CIG staff, who's the awesome work we're seeing in front of you. So thanks again. You are all amazing, passionate, and enabling us to dream big. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Boom, baby. Well, that's wrapping that one up. That was great. That was really surprisingly exciting to kind of take a look at these additional systems and so much more. So I know I was recommended make sure that I watch that one first, because next we're going to be diving into crafting your home. So I'm really excited about this, because honestly, I think the way I will end up playing Star Citizen more than anything else is just being somebody who makes my own base somewhere on some planet and mining it for resources to put into the market and see just how much money I can make in game. Time will be, of course, tell. Now, Random Roger says, I've been following since 2017. I just checked and I have 3,446 spent on it so far. How do you check how much you've got spent on the game so far? Is there like a running total that I can pull up here? Citizen, turn on some music a little bit. Profile building, okay. Let's see how much I've spent. I'm nowhere near that. All right, let's see here. Last time I brought up the site, they doxed me, so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna show you what I'm seeing. Come on. Log me in, let's go. There it goes. Took a little bit of time. All right, so profile. See my hangar. Organizations. I guess I'm going to go my hangar, maybe? Billings. There we go. Okay. Looks like my total spent has been $284.62. So, thank you, Janos. All right, that's the money that I'm in. I think, isn't it, if you get to 1,000, you get like some kind of special status or something like that? I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'm sure I'll get there with enough time. All right. Now it's time. Now it's time to dive in. 1K is concierge. Thank you, Janos. So I'm 1/4 of the way to concierge, baby. Oh man, I do want to get like a bike or something like that. Something that whenever I travel to a planet, I can mount up and whatnot. So I think that's gonna be probably my next the next thing I purchase. All right, let me kill the music. Let's jump into crafting your home. If you're watching this as a highlight, be sure to like, sub, and share out the best moments, the things that you're most interested in. Sound off in the comments, etc., or jump into the Discord, which will be in the top link in the description. Would love to have you part of the community. Let's go. Oh.
Thank you, Citizencon. It is an honor to be here. Yesterday, we presented the verse that we're creating for you. We shared new tech, locations, creatures, giant worm, social features, things we're doing with
social
orgs.
features are
We even played
really
the first
sweet.
chapter of Squadron 42 live. How great was that? Yeah? A few minor glitches, but nothing we can't sort out. So today, we got something just as exciting to talk about. But instead of focusing on what we're creating for you, we want to show you the world that you can build. With crafting, we're going to give you the tools to create your own loot, to build your own home.
Yeah.
Crafting will fundamentally change not only how you play the game, but why you play the game.
It's an important aspect to any sandbox MMO.
So, what is crafting? Why does it matter? Why should you be as excited as I am about this? Well, first off, crafting is a profession. It requires its own set of tools, the knowledge of how to use them. Crafting offers progression. You become a better crafter by learning new blueprints and upgrading them.
Blueprints.
Crafting builds on the existing gathering professions. When you would go out and you collect your materials for crafting, we are adding new depth and meaning to those activities. Crafting provides customization. There isn't just one way to craft something. Like I said, we have upgrades. How you make and upgrade the things you craft is sometimes just as important as what you're crafting. In addition, you can earn cosmetic upgrades, craft unique items, even subscriber flair. But nowhere is this versatility more obvious than base building. We're going to have nearly limitless options for how you construct your home, how to customize your base to meet your own goals. Most importantly, crafting gives you a lot of new choices. The choices will impact your goals in the game, your interactions with other players, and eventually how you see the game itself. So where do we get started with crafting? Well, you can't craft without materials. Luckily, we've got a lot of ways to gather resources in the game. And crafting is designed to complement and expand on all of these existing gathering professions, as well as future additions. Let's take a closer look at mining as an example.
All right, let's go mining.
We've got hand mining and vehicle mining and ship mining. That's a lot of mining. But with crafting, we're going to introduce a lot of materials. So there's not just more to mine, but we're also going to specialize.
Okay.
So for instance, each type of mining will have its own unique materials to gather.
Interesting.
Gathering specific materials efficiently will require you to use the right gathering profession. Let's talk about refining. Currently, only mining resources can be refined, but doing so allows you to turn them into more valuable processed resources. With crafting, we're going to expand refining to include options for all raw materials. In addition to expanding the variety of materials you can gather, refining lets you create process materials that you're going to need to craft your upgraded blueprints. So now that you've gathered all these materials, what do you do with them? Currently, your only options in the game really are to sell them to a shop or maybe complete a contract. Adding crafting to the game radically changes your options. You can still mine, refine, and sell your resources, but now you have the option to make valuable and unique items, weapons, armor, even vehicles and ships. Right? And by valuable, I mean that the crafted gear that you create has the potential to be better than anything you can buy in a shop. But crafting just doesn't end with shiny new gear. Think much bigger. Crafting enables you to build your own home among the stars. You choose to make a farm, a hunting lodge, an industrial complex, your own trading hub, a military outpost, even a sprawling town with your friends and org mates. Got a lot here, but it's all optional. You can choose to focus on gathering resources and sell them to crafters that need them. You can skip gathering and refining and just focus on being the best crafter you can be.
Shared market that allows you to
Or you can leave all that gathering and crafting nonsense to other people and just focus on trade and make some money. But that brings me to my last point. Player choice matters.
Yeah.
When a player makes a choice, they assign value. Players' choices about crafting and base building will drive player trade. The community's choices will determine the value of the materials and the crafted goods you can all make.
Open player markets,
The game will still have its own shops and economy alongside players, but now you'll have more options about where you invest.
What's actually really good about having NPC, aspects, because a couple things will happen. You can have just somebody whose main job is they just go purchase things from the NPC and then they go sell it somewhere else and they charge more for it because people will pay for convenience, right? So if you're like, hey, I'm going to just purchase a lot of this items for cheap and then I'm going to sell it, AKA profit. The other aspect of it is it also does set a floor for various different values. So it means that it immediately helps assign some values to certain items. So then as the economy goes, it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to sell this for that because I can go buy it for even cheaper over, it does have some good effects, but you want to continue to push more and more into that player driven economy, which he's right. Players assigning their own value basically creates the incentive structure for why you want to maybe go do something. And what I mean by this is let's contrast this to the theme park design of the daily. The daily, because there is no player economy, it incentivizes you with massive amounts of rewards really quick. It's very candy-esque. It means it will work until it doesn't. You'll get to a point where you'll be so burnt out on that mindset because it's telling you where the value is. It's telling you what to do, as opposed to you getting in and saying, you know what I feel like doing today is this. And then what you find is that when you have that player-driven economy, it takes the content and it keeps it always relevant. When you have nobody went out and mined this mineral, the market price skyrockets, and then all of a sudden incentive to go and do that ends up following it in its wake. And I think that's a critical component to any sandbox online game. This does mean you'll see people complain that it's pay to win, because anytime you can make money and get power from that. But I think that is just the theme park MMO player, not the hardcore, the old school MMO player that's like, yeah, like if you're able to make money, you should be able to buy cool stuff with it.
And how you prosper. Now, I've given you a nice overview of what we're working on here. And we have a lot more planned for the future. But now that you're familiar with the big picture, I want to introduce some of my fellow developers to come up on stage. They've got exciting details to share with you about the specifics of our new crafting systems, important gameplay improvements, And most exciting, I think anyway, an update to base building.
Base building!
To start things off, please welcome Jacob Taylor to the stage.
Thank you, Rick. And hello, Citizencon.
Well, hello, my fellow ginger.
Hi, I'm Jacob, Senior Gameplay Programmer on crafting. Rick has showed us how crafting will link into a lot of existing and new gameplay, but I think it's time we get into some of the details. I'm going to tell you about the new game mechanics we're introducing, starting with blueprints.
Wondering if these are, you trade.
Before you can craft anything, you'll need a blueprint. Blueprints provide the recipe to perform all kinds of crafting processes, including refining. You can acquire blueprints through various activities. Some you can buy, some you can find, and some can be unlocked or earned in other ways. You can also upgrade your blueprints through research. We'll go into more detail about what this means a bit later. So, blueprints are the recipe, and Rick already told us the materials you gather and refine will be the ingredients. But there's a bit more to it than that. We have a new concept for materials, material quality. Quality is a property we're adding to all resources you can gather.
Wow.
That's an abstract measurement of how good it is at being whatever it is. You can think of this as the purity of a metal, or the ripeness of a fruit, or something along those lines. This quality will be carried forward from raw resources through the refining process to influence what that batch of materials is best used for in crafting. High quality is more desirable overall, but is more rare, and there are still important uses for low-quality materials. More on that later. All raw materials you find in the verse will have a quality rating that's generated based on some rules, the same kind of rules you heard about from the Planet Tech team yesterday. You'll find the same material in many places, but with varying qualities, so you might want to explore to find the best. Some materials that are already rare will be even more valuable if you can find them with high quality. But what's quality for? It's for item stats. Alongside quality, we're introducing a new item stat system to the game. This will allow relevant properties of craftable items to be affected by the quality of materials used to craft them. For resources, just a single quality rating is sufficient to provide variation, but craftable items have such diverse purposes that we need a more detailed system to provide both progression and customization options. We aim to have meaningful item stats for all craftable items, but some examples would be the damage and fire rate of a gun, the wear resistance of a ship component, or even the satiation provided by eating a hot dog.
Yeah, you get Star Wars Galaxy vibes
So,
for sure.
as I said, the quality of materials will directly affect the item stats, such that higher quality results in better stats. Most items require multiple different materials to make, which may each influence different stats. And in many cases, you'll have a choice of materials to use, which lets you decide which stats to focus on to tailor your items to your playstyle. Here we see I'm making a gun with high-quality aluminium, giving me a nice bonus to integrity and weight. But someone sold me low-quality copper, so I don't get as much fire rate bonus as I could have. To go even further, researching your fabrication blueprints allows you to build higher tiers of an item with improved base stats. So a higher tier item will be better than a lower tier item that was made with materials of the same quality. Making high-tier items requires more advanced materials, but is also how you access greater choice as to which stats to improve. This means that your high-tier items can not only be better overall, but also more specialized in the areas that are important to you. Most items will have tiers 1 to 3, with tier 1 being the most basic version of the item, and tier 3 being a highly advanced version made with appropriately impressive materials. But you can also craft vehicles.
Yeah. Good.
And vehicles are so important that they will go up to tier 5,
Okay,
providing a
cool.
way for you to really invest in making your favorite vehicles excel. Of course, many of you have already bought your favorite vehicles, so you don't really need to make them from scratch, right? Or maybe you've pirated, salvaged, or otherwise commandeered a vehicle. Not to worry, you can still benefit from crafting by using an upgrade blueprint to increase the tier of an existing vehicle,
Nice.
including the usual stat improvements and customization. Upgrading a vehicle can save a lot of time over crafting it from scratch, so it's a convenient way for established vehicle owners to bring the benefits of item stats to their fleet. Let's take a look in-game at the difference it makes to have high-tier equipment made from high-quality materials. See how the recoil is reduced on our high-tier gun.
Oh, cool.
The spooling is faster on a high-tier quantum drive.
Nice. Man, that's going to make high-quality stuff like super valuable.
And a high-tier
Anything that can
scraper
save
beam
you
is much
time.
more effective.
Yeah, if it's like you can save somebody so much time, wow, that's going to translate into cash money.
So, that's an overview of crafting's key game mechanics. I'll now hand over to Torsten to walk you through the full crafting process. Thank you, and have a good day.
That was cool. That's awesome.
Thank you, Jacob. Hi, I'm Torsten, lead system designer of the CGP system design team. We now saw all elements of crafting looked at individually. Let's bring them in order how you, as the player, will experience the crafting profession. You will start with acquiring the correct blueprints as the first step in the crafting process. As Jacob already mentioned, blueprints can be acquired in multiple ways. Let me give you some examples here. You can purchase commonly available blueprints, earn them from reputation and mission rewards, or even find them in loot crates. All content in our game could reward you with a blueprint. Some blueprints will be challenging to find, so players working together may find them easier to acquire. While you may find a blueprint on a datapad or other portable device, the blueprint itself is not a physical item. You don't collect them in a box or stack them on a bookshelf. Blueprints are digital. Once you claim one, it is permanently added to your personal library. This library is persistent to your character, and every blueprint you claim is yours forever.
Man, that would suck if they took them
They
away.
cannot be stolen or traded once
Yeah,
claimed.
no trade. Oh, you can
But it does not just end
not claim
with
it.
acquiring
Right?
blueprints.
Interesting.
Those tiers of quality that Jacob mentioned are unlocked through blueprint research. Research requires a research data bank which can upgrade your blueprints. Upgrading here means that you unlock a blueprint that allows you to create a better, higher tier version of the same item using more advanced materials. Note, you will still have access to the lower tier versions if you want to craft the cheaper version. In order to upgrade a blueprint, you may need to perform certain actions. In this example, we need to craft 100-volt pistols and have one with a higher fire rate. Other examples would be collect resources, complete missions, or acquire research data from the Science Guild. Research is time-intensive, in addition to the action requirements. It will take time for the research data bank to process your research data and unlock the upgrade. You are also limited in how many research projects you can pursue at once. Now that you have your blueprint and you decided what to craft, you also know what resources to look for. Every blueprint you find will have unique requirements in their resource needs. It will not just be you need iron. We want to make use of the professions we have to meaningfully involve them in the crafting process. Especially for the more advanced blueprints, you can expect that it will require materials from multiple sources. And, as already mentioned by Jacob, pay attention to the quality. If you want to have the perfect item, you also need the best quality. Here, the best way to find the best resources is to get out and explore the world. If you want to find the best hidden materials, then you get yourself a top quality radar. Once you collected the raw materials, the next step is refining them. Refining, like crafting, requires blueprints. Refining blueprints take primary, secondary, and catalyst materials and produce refined materials. The rule is very simple. The quality of the primary raw material defines the quality of the refined material. The secondary material you put in has an impact on the quantity and the time the refining process will take. An optional catalyst can speed up the process further. Let me give you a simple example. If you want high-quality steel, you need to put in the best iron you have in the primary slot. You can put any quality coal in the secondary slot without affecting the quality of the steel. But the quality of the coal will influence how much of it you need to produce steel. As an example, if you put in low-quality coal, you might require 4 SCU of coal versus high-quality coal that only requires 2 SCU. This is one of the important use cases for low-quality materials that Jacob mentioned. You can use refining stations in the world as they will be converted to this new process. You can build your own refineries for yourself, you can get your org to help you out, or you can simply trade for the materials that you need on the open market. Now, we are reaching the final step. You got the blueprints, you gathered resources, and refined materials. Now you can create the item you want. And this item can be anything. You will be able to craft anything from FPS equipment to vehicle components, even entire vehicles and buildings.
Yeah, I love it.
You just need access to the relevant crafting machine. Talking about crafting machines. We will have a variety for you that differ in what process they can support, like a refinery or a dedicated vehicle crafting machine. We will also find them in various places. There will be communal ones like the station refineries you already know, player-owned that can be in your personal hangar, a vehicle, or your base. As all that we have talked about just now, these crafting machines also come in tiers. Here, the tiers will affect how well those machines do their job. You will not only progress in the products you produce, but also in the infrastructure to produce your wares. Just to give you an idea what you will encounter, here are some examples of the crafting machines. There is the nutrition fabricator, the chemical fabricator, an item fabricator, and even fabricators of a much larger scale we will talk about later.
I was wondering if they were going to zoom out and be like...
Talking about scale, I would like to talk about the future of crafting and the scale it will have in the game that you all know, and how it will change the game moving forward. As you all know, we have a lot of items in the game, and they all require their own unique blueprints. That means our aim is to have more than 1,000 blueprints that include the creation and the refining blueprints. And each of those can be researched to unlock tier upgrades up to tier 3 or tier 5. That's a lot of blueprints. And it will surely take a lot of time to unlock everything. So I, personally, recommend that you, as the crafter you are, focus on a specific field first and extend your knowledge from there. Collaborate and coordinate with your friends and fellow players. If you're part of a group, we invite you to share responsibilities with your org mates. Maybe you will be the FPS crafter while your friend is a ship crafter, but they know a ship component crafter specialist. There's a lot of content, and it will continue to grow over time. You are free to be a generalist crafter, a specialist, or something in between. Pick the blueprints you care about and be the best. Have an exotic shield generator that no one else has the blueprint for but you. Help others and earn credits while doing so. It is a real profession in the game that will benefit from your dedication and attention. As you can tell, crafting will have a huge impact on everything in the game. Even if you do not want to get actively involved, at some point you will stumble over a weapon that got crafted by someone else, and you will be using it. People will start selling their crafting goods or the refined materials or even the raw materials for the sole purpose of fulfilling the demand created by crafting. Players like you can become well-known specialists that are sought out to get certain things crafted from. With the ever-expanding game we all love, we will continuously expand our crafting to offer you long-term progression that involves the entirety of our game. And you might have guessed it already, but there's one more thing that crafting is the foundation of, and that is base building.
Base building. This is what I'm really interested in.
I will now hand over to Luke. Enjoy the second part of this presentation. Thank you very much.
Now, as Joe is new to Star Citizen, they said that they wonder if you'd be paying real money to speed up crafting. And Random over on YouTube says, in response to this comment, you can't pay real money to speed up refining, so I doubt that you'll be able to do it with crafting. I also doubt that you'll be able to do it with crafting. However, I think there will be ways that you can speed up your process, and that's just going to be player-driven, playing the game, economics when it's all said and done. Because I think if they went that route where it was just like you devalue so much, and I think overall you end up hurting the game.
Well,
thank you, Mystic. I don't know if you're still playing Final Fantasy 14. I've been seeing so much drama around that game as of recently, and I'm just like, oh man, did I call it or did I call it?
good morning, citizens. Who's excited to start talking about this next topic?
Yes.
Let's get into it. My name is Luc Gijsbertse. I'm the lead environment artist on base building structures. Now that we have an understanding of the fundamentals of crafting, thanks to Jacob and Thorsten,
Dude, I'm
we
excited.
can explore how crafting is the foundation of base building. Up until now, everything in the game we made for you. From here on, we will give you the tools to build your own stories, your own homes, and truly make the universe yours. Join me on a journey on building our own habitable home on Pyro. Keep in mind that the following footage is work in progress, including its UI, design, and visuals. And we're super excited to share this with you.
All right, let's see this. Got lots of materials.
We found a beautiful location by a lake. This is where we'll build ourselves a home. To do so, we need some resources and the construction graph card. The construction graph card allows us to survey the land, claim the land in a lawful system, and it allows us to build structures. As we've already found the location and don't need to claim land in lawless Pyro, we can straight dive into building our base. Keep in mind, the following UI is work in progress.
Oh wow, new structure, resource management. Oh my gosh.
A survey drone that deploys from the top of the card gives us a controllable augmented view of the land. In the new structure mode, we'll pick a small basic structure and hit construct. For this demo, the construction will be instantaneous, but in the final product, this will take you quite some time.
Fascinating. That looks cool.
We've done it. We've built our first structure. Let's have a look on the inside.
It seems like what a lot of people are saying, Mystic.
As we walk into the small basic structure, we see an empty interior that is dimly lit. It's up to us to define what we will use this space for. In our case, we will want to make it into a home. We can see that the lights are still off, and that is a problem. Because no lights means no atmosphere, no breathable atmosphere. So it's not ideal to live in. So how do we solve this issue? We can improve this by providing the building with power. Let's see if we can build something that helps us out. But before we dive into more building, let's take a quick moment to enjoy the freedom that the survey drone provides us with and admire the aesthetics of our first structure. And I wonder what Declan was up doing there. Keep in mind that base building is still work in progress, but what you're seeing right now has been recorded directly in the client and works seamlessly between first person and the building mode. Okay, enough. Back to base building. In the list of new structures, we see a small fuel generator. That is something that could solve our problem, I think. Power providing structures need to be hooked up to other buildings inside construction ER mode, but we'll explain this later. The fuel generator is one of several structures that provides power, each with their own benefit and drawbacks. Fuel power is quick and easy to build, but it requires a constant supply of fuel besides its regular maintenance. If a structure is not maintained, it will halt its activity. Players will need to maintain fuses to keep the building operational. The better crafted fuse, the longer it lasts. This is where the fuse goes on this building. Next up, we have a terminal that gives us access to the status of our building. And, more importantly, we get to activate it here.
That's cool.
That should do it. Let's see if we got power in the building now. As you notice, some of the crates in the background have disappeared, as their content has been consumed during the construction process of the buildings.
Cool. Thank goodness you're not like having to go and feed every
And it looks like
item.
Declan is now hooking up the power to the building. I wonder what he was up to earlier, though. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Declan has been busy decorating the place. As we can see, the lights are now properly working. We got atmosphere, and we can start to use the item fabricator now that there is power. Always handy in case we need a fuse. Let's have a quick look at what we've done so far. We've decorated the place.
So impressive.
We made it our own little home. We hooked it up with power. I would say we have a place that we can live in. It might not be much, but I think it's just enough to call it a home. Thank you.
That's sweet. And you can see like just how much people could build their own little mini cities and stuff like that.
Now that we have a rough understanding of how base building works, let's dive into some of the specifics of what we just saw. The construction graph card is one of 4 devices used for base building. The graph card is a mobile device that lets you construct a variety of small structures and has been designed specifically to fit into the smallest ships, like the Drake cutter. The graph card allows us to survey the land, to find a good location, to claim the land with credits when we're in a lawful system like Stanton, and most importantly, it lets us build structures. To use the graph card, we will first need to deploy it. Once deployed, we see 2 small construction drones inside the card, and the interactive screen gets revealed to us. From here, we can deploy the survey drone from the extended top part of the card. This survey drone gives us a bird's-eye view of the surrounding area using augmented reality mode, ER mode for short. Let's have a look at some UI concepts of how this augmented reality mode will look like. Here's a concept of construction ER. From here, we get a more detailed view of the land. Where can and can't I settle? For example, inside a nature reserve, construction will be prohibited. Are nearby areas flat enough to place my structures on? Are there any underground extraction deposits nearby? And if so, what are their quality and quantity? Let's say we found a good place to start building our base. Then next up, we need to find a good place for our first structure. On the left-hand side, we can see that we're now in structure creation mode. Underneath that, there is a list of structures that we can build. Once you have chosen a structure, you'll drag it onto the terrain that will be shown then as a physicalized hologram. From here, you can move and rotate to find the perfect position for your structure. Now that we have chosen a position for our structure, we will need to supply it with crafting materials. Just like the crafting interface that we saw earlier, this is where you choose the materials, and the better materials you choose will result in a better structure. Once you're ready, we'll hit the craft button on the right bottom to send the construction drones printing to the buildings. The automated construction drones will take off from the construction graph card and fly to nearby resources to fill their internal storage and then fly over to the construction site to print the building until their internal storage has been depleted. The construction drone then repeats the loop by filling its internal storage again by nearby resources. Printing buildings will take some time. Keep the construction supplied so that you don't delay the process any further. Let's say our building did just finish printing, then what? Then we need power. We need to power the building. All structures will have an unpowered and a powered state that we can manage inside the resource manager. To provide structures with power, we can easily link generators to structures that need power in the resource management menu within Construction ER. We can also link multiple buildings together.
Nice.
And we can assess the power consumption and shortage of, inside this resource management screen. Keep in mind that operational structures, like power generators, require maintenance of their fuses and sometimes need supplies coming in and going out to be managed. Now that we have a structure and power, what can we do next? Then we can actually upgrade our structure. Structures can be upgraded from tier 1 till tier 3.
Okay, so
the better material you provide,
tier, not
the
5
better
like
the
ships.
improvement will be. Just like Jacob and Thorsten explained in the crafting presentation. Tier upgrades can, for example, improve the structural integrity of the building or make its resource consumption more efficient. To really make your base feel like home, you will want to decorate your base with a wide variety of furniture pieces that can be bought, crafted, and found in the universe. It's up to you to define what you want this space to be. Do you want to decorate it as a hospital? Do you want to make it into a workshop? Do you want to make it into a luxurious bedroom? It's up to you. Furniture can easily be placed and moved using decorative ER mode as an hologram. This is so your furniture can easily fit through doors. This feature is accessible through nearby construction devices, allowing you to place down furniture pieces or even crafting machines that otherwise wouldn't fit through the door.
Nice.
And you get to place them directly from your local inventory. The less trusted among you, or anyone settling in Pyro for that matter, may want to mag-lock their furniture into place so that only you and your friends get to rearrange your decorations. And best of all, decorative ER is not exclusive to base building and can also be used for personal hangars and ships.
That's cool. Wow.
To recap, what are the essentials for any base? 1, come prepared, bring the right resources and a construction device with you. 2, use the resource manager, power generators to make your base habitable and functional. And maintain your base with resources and by replacing out worn fuses. And 3, personalize your base, personal hangar and ship with decorative ER. And there we have it, our home in Pyro. Now that we have an understanding of the basics of base building, we'll explore how you can go and make more than just a home. But before I hand you over to Declan, the designer behind base building, I'd like to say a quick thank you for those who made this presentation possible. So a quick thank you to Eddie, Brandon, Jack, Dan, Mark, Xiao, Stefan C, Dom, Stefan T, Carl, Joel, and Rob for your efforts and dedication. Now give me a warm welcome for Declan.
Nice one, cheers. All right, thank you, Luke. Good morning, everyone. Morning. My name is Dec. I am the system designer behind crafting and base building, and we've just seen a nice little base, right? That's good for cabin in the woods. Maybe you want to place it down next to big redwoods, go and explore, or a place to stash some loot you perhaps shouldn't have. But, do you want to see a big base? Yeah. Good, because we're going to industrialize.
Industrialization.
So we're going to set ourselves a goal before we do a video, and we're going to create a base that's capable of crafting something that's bigger than the item fabricator can handle. It's been a bit of a spoiler already as to what it's going to be. So to kick us off, called in the help of a friend who has a specialized, not yet revealed base building vehicle, and he's built us this. It is the construction hub. This has 4 automated drones compared to the GravCarts 2.
Okay.
They can build small, medium, and large buildings. So far, we've only seen small. Automated drones are capable of building 1 structure each simultaneously, so 4 is quite a big advantage.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
We'll pop into our construction AR and we'll get down a generator, we'll connect some buildings together just so we have a place to call home before we begin. All right, there we go. So we've settled on one of the brand new underground resource deposits, and we're about to exploit it using this. It is our extractors. This particular one is a large solid extractor. We'll also have liquid and gas, depending on which type of deposit that you've settled on. We have our output grid here, where we're getting all the brand new resources up out the ground. And it is important to note that once these things are set up, it's not a case of just free resources forever. On key structures like this, there are fuses which will occasionally need replaced, as well as environmental wear which can be fixed using crafting materials.
Wow. Fascinating.
All right, now we want to turn those raw resources into the more valuable refined materials we saw the process talked about earlier with Thorsten. Of course, we want this. It is our refinery. Once again, there are multiple types here. This one is the large solid matter refinery. We have liquid and gas again, as well as biological, depending on the type of materials that you're using and want to produce. Refinery has input and output grids. For input, as you might expect, it's for the resources which you're going to consume, and then the output is for the resulting refined goods. This is a terminal where you would select which blueprint you want to use, and therefore which type of refining method you want.
Fascinating.
A lot of crates here with our extractor and our refinery, so we're going to put down our elevator storage. Base is really starting to build up now, but it's worth me mentioning again here that whilst we're putting these buildings down instantly in this video, large structures like this, they will take some time with the automated construction drones, but the smaller scale base we saw in the previous video, that can be done in a single play session. We'll just keep on putting down more extractors because we want as much as that valuable resource out the ground as quick as possible. And with base building, we're introducing the concept of a freight elevator network.
Okay.
What this will allow you to do is it will allow you to link multiple freight elevators together, and in turn, they will share the same storage. So as we're doing here, we'll deposit an item on freight elevator A, and then we're retrieving it on freight elevator B. There is a distance limit, but you can daisy chain the elevators together to extend that. And it has to all be contained within the same base.
Okay, fascinating.
Now, as we expand, we might want to invite more people to join us. This is easy to do. There will be permissions that we can set up, granting people access to our base, and they can even build their own structures if they wish. We can also give them access to existing structures, which is how you can form your org storage using those freight elevators.
Yeah.
Now, we always want a safe place to store our ships, so the trusty hangar will do.
Oh, wow. Your own hangar.
See, it has this large, we call it a foundation tile. It's quite special in that it can actually deform the terrain around it, making it easy to place such a huge structure like this. You can also place other buildings on it, so it's easy for making large, sprawling bases. However, there is one final piece of the puzzle that we need to achieve our goal, and it is this, our very own fabrication hangar.
Nice.
Does anyone want to guess what we're going to build in a fabrication hangar? An Idris, maybe not an Idris, if I'm honest. We'll have a drive around, we'll go to the entrance, and we'll see what's in store for us.
Hey, what's up, Dub? Happy New Year to you. Yeah, I'm hoping
Looks like
2025
whatever it is, it's just about finished crafting.
For the release of Squadron 42 being next year. I think that's going to be really big. And as much progress as they can make here, the better, because people are going to play Squadron 42. And
Of course, we're going to build
this one out.
ourselves a ship.
Very nice.
So, quick recaps of the gains from industrializing. We've tapped into the brand new resources, and we've made use of them by turning into the more valuable refined materials. We've introduced freight elevator networks, which are great for logistics and hauling. And then we've created our fabrication hangar, which allows us to craft big valuable items, such as ships. Now, ships are valuable because you can fly them, you can play content with them, but because they are a crafted item, they can also be sold to other players.
Oh, there we go. That's what I was saying. You got to make it easy for people to buy. I'm not going to fly around plane to plane hoping to find something.
With base building, you're going to be able to set up your own shops, and there's two main ways you can do this. The first is using a dedicated trading terminal. You can link these to your freight elevators, and in turn, any items within can be listed for sale at a price you deem reasonable. This includes resources, refined materials, and so on. Using the terminal, visiting players can browse what's on offer, purchase, and then collect from that same freight elevator. The second method is to set up a physical shop in the world. By using the decorator AR we saw earlier with Luke, you can maglock items and then list them for sale. Once again, browsing players, they can see the price of the maglocked item, purchase it, which then removes the maglock.
Nice.
Of course, the nice thing with physical shops is you can genuinely make it feel like a store. You can put items on shelving. You can even go as far as to make your own ship showroom. You can advertise your wares on a mobile pass for UEC. However, it is important to note that the point of purchase will always occur at the base itself. Now that we know how to set up shop, I just want to take a moment to talk about why it's so impactful for crafting and base building the game as a whole. Understandably, throughout this presentation, we've been telling you why you want to craft all these things or why you want to build this big base. But maybe you don't have the time to build a big base and maintain it. Maybe you want to spend your time doing the missions, you want to do your beacons, that's how you want to make your credits instead. Shops mean that you can benefit from the players who do want to spend the time making those bases or crafting those specialist items, and then you can purchase them from them, which is very important because crafted items using high quality materials will be the most powerful in the game.
Yeah.
On the flip side, if you do specialize,
that's actually one of my
maybe you end
biggest
up
pet
cornering them.
peeves is when you see like the most powerful whatever isn't player made. It's always you go beat a boss, and that's where it's like no, like it should be. It'd be difficult, but it should always be, in my mind. What I argue for is player made.
Markets for a particular item or resource, and your shop will then turn into a hotspot of activity, making you loads of credits. Some of you will become infamous because of it. But bear in mind, a successful shop also depends on location. Do you want your customers on edge in Pyro, which tends to have the higher quality materials? Or do you want to spend time hauling them all the way over to safer systems where your customers can be more at peace? We've talked about selling items. Let's sell the look of your base. We have foundation tiles, which can help you divide up the foundation decals, which help you divide up the foundation tile. You can place them freely wherever you want, and they just help you mark up areas like, I want to use this place for cargo, I want this for housing, vehicles, and so on. You'll be able to earn paints in-game and apply them to buildings.
Very nice. Very nice.
As well as add your own custom text, so if you're part of an org, the blue buildings that have your name are definitely yours. We have some forms of base building which are either still in the design phase or early white box, but we want to share some details. First up, we have farming and ranching.
Fascinating.
Farming, it comes in two general types. We have our low-tech farming and then high-tech. Low-tech consists of you acquiring the seeds, planting them in the appropriate environment. If you remember back to yesterday, the Brave New Worlds, we had soil types and such now. That'll play a part. As well as supplying them with nutrients and then just harvesting them when they're grown. High-tech, it's a bit more involved because you've got to make the hydroponic buildings we see here, but in return, you'll be able to grow exclusive strains of plants.
Fascinating. That is really
Ranching
fascinating.
will allow you to keep herds of animals. You'll have to provide them with feed, water, and shelter, but in return, they will provide you with produce. Not every animal can be ranched. I don't really see a sandworm ranch anytime soon, but the quasi-grazer will, of course, will. Not yet. Maybe. No.
Here's my own sandworm farm.
We have a few more additional archetypes. We have landing pads, garages, roads, fencing, as well as new variants of structures which we've seen today. For instance, the power generator, there'll be solar power, fusion, geothermal, as well as the XL structure class. If you remember, everything we've seen today, the biggest we've seen today, rather, is large. XL is larger than large. And then you have your defense.
This looks very detailed. I don't know if we're gonna. Are we seeing this in 2025?
In lawful areas, you have varying levels of security provided for you. With max security, you are protected by planetary shield tech. However, in lawless, Pyro and the likes, you'll have to provide your own defenses. These come in the form of perimeter walls, shielding, which prevents aerial bombardments, and then a range of automated turrets, such as PDC to shoot down missiles, anti-air, anti-vehicle, and anti-personnel. To round up, whilst we spent this entire time talking about how you can expand a single base, you can, of course, have multiple. These can be across a single planet, moons, across multiple systems. There are advantages and disadvantages of locations and base types. For example, in lawful areas, you'll need to buy your land for UEC, pay a tax to be able to build, and then you'll gain protection in return. In lawless, no cost.
If it
High
makes it
chance of
into
better quality
2025,
materials,
that'd be
but no
impressive.
security to fall back on. A small cabin in the woods can be great to set up in a single play session with short build times. However, the large base we just saw will take days, weeks, or even months, depending on how big you want to go. You might want to embark on this endeavor as a team or an org. You can set up a base as an org and own it as the org. For this, there'll be permissions available, and you can assign roles and tasks. Ultimately, base building can be your main gameplay loop or a supplementary one, depending on what it is that you value.
Cool. Thanks, Shady. That's what.
On that final
that's
note,
what my mind
I would like
was-
to
I was
say
thinking
thank you on behalf of the crafting and base
probably
building
early
teams.
2026.
We've been very excited to share with you some of the work so far and the vision we have for these systems. But before we go, we have one final video.
Man, they are crushing it. We got those water effects introduced earlier. That's nice. And if they got it into summer 2025 course, then that would be really something. Like my initial thought was like maybe fall, or I would say 2026 for sure. Based off of what they've already shown off. Fantastic.
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you especially to Xian and Zheng Shui. They worked very hard on this, and you might see that base again later today. So stick around. Thank you.
Well, it's already like designed, but you can see it working, but then there's a lot of refinement that really goes into making sure that it all comes together. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Then it looks like the next video, I don't know why it looks like I watched, maybe it auto-played at some point. The Citizencon Captains of Industry and the Stars, My Destination, Star Citizen 1.0. All right, we still got some more reacts that we will get rocking and rolling. I'm going to spend the rest of my day in terms of this. I'm going to be checking out Pantheon. So officially, for those of you who are here, thank you so much. If you guys want to come to the Pantheon stream, it's still going to be here on Twitch. You're already in the right spot. Let me drop a link because I am not large enough on this channel to do redirects. So thanks to all those who've hit that subscribe button and helping out. But let me get you guys the link if you guys want to go and hang out with me in Pantheon. You want to talk Star Citizen? We can be talking Star Citizen, Pantheon, anything really going on 2025 related. I'll be hanging out in the Discord, so we'll be running it like we usually do with the podcast. That should be hopefully a lot of fun. I'm gonna drop that link also over for the other platforms as well if they want to. So officially, the stream will end here in a little bit, and then the next stream will spin up, and we're gonna be hanging out playing some Pantheon. Rise of the Fallen, checking it out, early access, sandbox, old school, MMO. Might be fun, might not be. We will be sure to find out. Guys, there's so much to be excited about. I know that we will continue to look at this year. I think what's going to be interesting is the insights Star Citizen, as those roll out. That will give us some more insight as to when we might be able to expect these base building and crafting systems to be fully in and added into the game. And I'm wondering if Captains of Industry and Star Citizen will change that time frame that I'm initially thinking of, or that you guys are kind of expecting. But one way or another, they are still plugging away, and this is going to be something really, really exciting to see, especially as Squadron 42 gets ready to roll out in 2026, and that's going to be fun. What is the theme of that MMO? I think it's fantasy random. I think it looks fantasy. It kind of has a EverQuest kind of vibe, being that that's what really inspired it from the creator of EverQuest before he passed away. So there we go. What's my time frame for 1.0? Well, we're still in alpha, and we're still working. They're still working on alpha 4.0. So definitely not 2025 for 1.0. Because you're going to see, and they'll probably make a big deal out of it when they get into the beta phase, right? And I don't know what number iteration they're going to decide to do with that. 1.0, from where the game is, from, and I haven't played it much in the last month or two. I haven't played many games in the last month or two. Man, the heart wants to say 2026, but I would probably mentally put it at 2027 minimum for 1.0, because 2026 Squadron 42, a lot of hype. That's where, if they married a bit moving this into a beta, kind of aspect, that would go real well with Squadron 42. And then you could say, 6 to 18 months beta, and then we're at 1.0. That's the math that I'm using. Fester thinks 3 to 5 years for SC 1.0. 3 to 5 years from now, so 2026, 27, well, all of 2025, 26, 27. So that's roughly what I was thinking. 5 years, 27, 28. Yeah, definitely by 2030. We hope, right? Oh my goodness, that's gonna be crazy. Carson says, I'll give you a hint. It's probably 5 to 6 years out. You will join me on this after you've seen what they want to have in 1.0. That's also true. Like, either y'all have some extra information, so it could be that, based off the feature list here, that it's like, oh wow, they're going to have so much into it. I do think, though, that there should be some big milestone to accompany Squadron 42, which I'm currently, as I would argue that they're targeting first half 2026. And the reason is that they just said 2026. The reason is that's their target. And if they can't hit it, if they need more time, they can easily shift it back into the back half of 2026 to, say, hey, we need, without having to tell people it was delayed, in that regards. So one way or the other, I think that's going to be a real big milestone for the game and the community. But this version of the game, I think there would be really good to see some milestones around that. And thus, I think what they've shown us all here, today with crafting, gathering, refining, and many of these features, that would go a long way in terms of like, hey, did you enjoy Squadron 42? maybe go check this out. The Fester says, I can wait. No one else is trying to do all this. Makes our space dreams come true. That's the real thing. And if you're not upset or frustrated, then more power to you. But you got to remember, and this is always something I encourage anybody in any game, if you're not having fun, take a break. There is no harm in it. There's no harm in it. You're only going to hurt the game if you don't take a break, because eventually you're going to get so tired and so angry and so frustrated that you're just like, well, burn it all down. And that, I think that is really a tragedy when that does happen. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. I'm going to get another drink. We're going to fire up the Pantheon stream. Hopefully I will see you guys over there. If not, no worries. I wish you guys all the very best. Thanks for hanging out with me. Happy New Year. Thank you for the likes on the stream. Thank you for the great chats and context. What's going on, Chili? I'm gonna be right back here in about 5 minutes on the next stream, which is already scheduled to rock and roll, but I do need to refresh my beverage. So anyway, thanks everybody. Love you. Take care.